Although there are many things going on a global level, this time, in this episode, I want to focus on something very special, what is happening here in Munich. The biggest beer or folk festival in the world is taking place at the end of September, beginning of October, and it's attracting between 6-7 million people every year. And this event is becoming more international by the year. When back in 2022, that was the first year after the pandemic, there was only 1/8 of the visitors coming from abroad this year. And this is according to data from Invenium, and these are based on cell phone data from Telefonica O2. We can see that this year more than a fourth were coming from abroad. And having some economic principles in mind, like the purchasing power parity, that was holding for many years at the Oktoberfest. You could see that in the past, with a stronger dollar, more people from the US were coming to Munich. Now, this time it's different. We have seen a substantial appreciation of the euro against the dollar, so dollar weakening. But despite this, the inflow of people from the US to Munich is still increasing, and we're at the new record high on the first Saturday of this year's event. And it's important to see where the people really come from. The biggest group of foreign visitors comes from the US. It's followed by Italy, and then we have the UK. On this, you can't see China. China does not play a role at the Oktoberfest. It's less than 1% of the international visitors coming from there. That was pretty different just 2 weeks before, when we had the automotive fair here in Munich, and looking there at the expo area, there were almost more than 20% of the foreign visitors coming from China. So there is quite a change in this population and in this attractiveness why people come here. So on the manufacturing side, China is taking over, but more in the service sector, it still seems that Germany can provide a very attractive product. So we have to see if this, what is happening at the Oktoberfest, can be used for the manufacturing industry as well to cope with the strengthening euro in the future. Now, being in Munich and being here in the summer, you know there is one important thing coming up. That's the price of the beer. This Wiesnomics, that's the price for 1 liter beer. That's still quite important. And we have this year a price of €15 on average. And looking at our kind of comparison on an international level, what we call the big Bavarian beer index, this price of 15.15 is still cheaper than 1 liter of Bavarian beer in Paris or in New York. And you have to have in mind that going to the Oktoberfest still does not include any entry fee. You just go there and consume. And it's interesting to see how this consumption behavior changes. We have had quite an increase in the non-alcoholic drinks since 2019 till now. It's up around a third, where in this period also the consumption of beer was going down somewhat. But figures on a longer horizon between 2013 and this year show that overall in Germany, you had a decline in the beer consumption per head by 11%. It was only down by something more than 1% for the Oktoberfest average beer consumption. Now looking at the price again, compared to other prices in Germany, it is up quite a bit. It's up by 34% since 2019. So again, the year before the pandemic pause. Compared to the average beer price, what you can buy in the supermarket, this is way more. But those prices were up by 25% as well. So substantial increase there. And it's interesting to see what the average prices for restaurant visits in Germany did in this period. These were up by 35%. So that's very comparable there. And again, having in mind that you don't have to pay anything else like the consumption, it does not seem too outrageous anymore. And for the average German, it takes around 33 minutes to work to buy your one Wiesenmaß. And this is up just a bit compared to the previous year. We did many other kind of interesting studies looking at the correlation between the amount of sold roasted chicken at the Wiesn and what this has to do with the developments of the German economy. Those and many other factors I want to talk to you in about a year's time. But till then, I wish all the visitors to the Wiesn a peaceful time in Munich.